Hello everyone and welcome back. This is game number 3 of the losers bracket match between Jtranleopard and Kale. We're watching now from Jtranleopard's perspective, who is in red as the Mori, trying to maybe break that curse and give the Mori a long overdue victory. On the other side we have Kale in blue playing the Hojo, and both sides have taken very similar armies to what we've seen in the past few games, so I won't really talk too much about the setups because there are little tweaks here and there, but we got the same two bows, nice katana line. We'll see if there are any no-dachis. Yep, Jtran definitely did bring some no-dachis. I wonder if Kale brought any, because that would be a very interesting dynamic difference. Doesn't look like he did. He just has the katanas and some Naginata monks forming his main line. So the no-dachis have some potential to really change the battle. They weren't used too well in the last match. We'll see if he can maybe learn a little bit from that and get off a big charge this time and turn that melee battle. And interestingly, the cavalry seems to be parked on different sides of the map. Jtran is putting his on the eastern hill, and Kale is going here on the west, which actually shifts the battle a little bit with the new buildings that were added to this map. There are now 3, one in the middle and then one on each side. So both sides are going more towards the shrine, and it looks like Jtran is going to realize that he essentially has free reign to capture this building and maybe even capture the archery dojo. I'd definitely be trying for it, as, Kale is just not in a position to deny this archery dojo. And with 2 bow warrior monks, to give him a big advantage in this battle. Even the matchlocks would be benefiting from that. Katana cavalry are moving across the river, so they will have a bit of a maneuverability of being on this side of the river, but it will slow them down trying to cross, and will give plenty of seconds for Jtran to respond to that and move some forces to try and counter it. So it looks like Jtran this time really wants to use his matchlocks, and it looks like he's going to be skirmishing with them, moving them up to the front. Or maybe just take some arrows if he's going to be moving up his bows. Yes, he is moving up his bows as well, so they might just be a bit of a distraction. They're not shooting yet, so they're not quite close enough. And there they go now, walking forward. Lost 12 men so far, and the angle is, let's just kind of take a look at this. It's not a bad angle at all for Kale shooting at the matchlocks, but he actually has some nice cover. If he were to move his army up through the trees right here, he would have a great angle of attack that the bows would not be able to touch. At least not very much. Katana cavalry trying to kill these matchlocks here, and yes, although they've lost men, since only the first line can shoot, it's not really that big of a deal because they'll still have a full first line. And there's a nice shot going into the enemy here. But this Katana samurai lost 15 men in that volley. That could be huge, and they're going to try and do some damage. Actually, scratch that. Looks like the back line's getting this a little bit, reforming just enough to get some more shots off. But being Ashigaru, they're already shaken. They could be routed here despite having half their men. And they're going to do some good damage, though. Killed 15 men in that Katana Samurai, 7 of the matchlocks. So maybe not great damage, but it will do something. And given this map and where the armies have placed themselves with the buildings and trees and hills everywhere, it might not be too that useful by the time the main engagement rolls around, so might as well do something with them. Now shooting into the Yari Ashigaru, which is about as good a target as any, as it will give that morale penalty, but not going to be able to take advantage of it. Yari Ashigaru is getting mowed down, killed 15 of them so far, using his fire attacks rather early as well. And who's he shooting into? It looks like he may not be microing his archery selections as he's shooting into this Yari Ashigaru. It's going to be a nice little body block for the bow warrior monks. Cavalry for Jtran is... Actually, it looks like Kale might be calling him on capturing these buildings and send some cavalry to try and deter it, but Kale has the shrine now, which could be huge. Shrine definitely a little better when it comes to a melee battle than the farmhouse. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But Kale, I think, has an advantage just from... he's going to be able to sneak a katana. Oh, but they're going into Yari Ashigaru. Nope, they've changed directions and are now going to the bow warrior monks. We're going to take... not a bad charge. They're down to 55 men. Actually pretty good. Killed about 25 men in that charge. So they'll be able to cut them down if Jtran can't react in time. And this could be big. Kale could again have a big skirmish advantage, which could pressure Jtran into a bad attack. This Yari cavalry trying to make a pass here, but the Naginata monks are going to hold them to it. And there go the bow warrior monks off the field. So it's 1 versus 2 here. I think Kale really needs to take advantage of this and start pressing his skirmishing now, as he has a big advantage in units 2-1. Now who are the bow monks shooting? A Katana Samurai, who is sitting there at 100 men, so only killed 5 men so far shooting into the Katana Samurai. Maybe they're shooting the Yari Ashigaru and just missing. Katana Cavalry is going to be wavering. We'll see if that was a good trade-off for Kale, losing a Katana Cavalry for a Bow Warrior Monk. If excuse me, if he skirmishes well, it will be a good trade-off. But if Jtran presses this soon, it might not have been worth it. Oh my gosh, a Yari cavalry is going in. Manages to get a nice charge off into the main line. Killed 40 men to that Katana Samurai unit, so probably worth it there. Well, lost half his Yari cavalry though, so has to be careful not lose all of his cavalry. What's he have back here? 2 Katana cavalry. So not terrible trade-offs, but we'll see if that ends up being significant in losing 2 of his cavalry units early. Because looking at Jtran's force, he might only have 1 cavalry unit left besides his general, so he might be able to afford losing those. And actually sending him to the bow warrior monks. If actually, I forgot the 3 over there. Will this be a good trade-off though? It's questions that have yet to be answered. Both sides sacrificing cavalry early, and we're just not sure if it's going to be worth it. Depends on how the battle plays out. Just a little bit of skirmishing now going on. Yari cavalry is coming back for more with 23 men. We'll see where they're trying to hit. General's kind of wide open. He can make a charge there. Oh, it looks like that's what he's doing. Will he be able to make it in? And Jtran's not going to catch it in time. Getting off a nice charge. Killed 6 of them in that charge. 7. We'll see how significant this ends up being. Going into the general is almost always worth it. Sitting at 20 men now. Checking the mini-map. Nothing really happened there. 17 men. His general loses half of its strength from a half-strength Yari cavalry charge. Ooh, that's never good. Kale is now moving forward. It's like he wants to be the one to attack now. Actually, it's a good time because Jtran's cavalry is halfway across the map, and they're going to have the same problem they had in the last game in not being able to make it to the infantry battle in time. But it looks like Jtran knows it's coming and is moving his cavalry now desperately in an attempt to get to the infantry battle in time. The Nodachi's going to go out and not going to get a good charge off again. They're blocked by their own units, but this one might. Nice little charge there from the Nodachi. He's down to 75 men in that Katana Samurai unit. Got a nice little bonsai charge off. Not bad. And this one took a little bit too, down to 100 men. So Jtran seems to have the upper hand in this melee engagement at the moment. And Kale really needs to move this cavalry out of the rear to get to the infantry battle because it's going pretty well for Jtran right now. Though he has some units milling around the side here that could end up making a difference. If one unit routes now, this one over here is wavering at 30 men. This could cause a chain rout going on. Yari Shigaru in an interesting position there in Spear Wall. And it looks like this wing of Kale's force is going to drop now. This Katana Samurai is still in reserve. Oh, and here comes the Katana Cavalry. Have a free shot at the general. He's got to go for the general here. Forget the bows, man. Go for the general. This Great Guard going into the Katana Cavalry, probably just to hold him down. Doesn't want him making it to the infantry battle because he knows it's in his favor. And here comes the Katana Cavalry in a nice wide formation, hitting the Yari Ashigaru in the rear right there. Killed 60 men in that charge. Well, maybe they were down a little bit, but there are 73 men and they are gone. See you later. The general took a nice charge too, losing 5 men down to 25. Great Guard pulling out now and hitting the bow monks, just trying to tie them down. And the infantry is surging through for Jtran, pushing through, and it looks like, oh man, all of Kale's mainline infantry is gone or wavering and will be gone in a matter of seconds. General down to 20 men for Jtran. It's looking very bad for him, but the bow warrior monks are, or excuse me, I think I misspoke. Kale's looking in a precarious position, but Jtran's general here is at 9 men and being shot by a bow monk, so this could end up being fairly close. His general 14 men, I think he's got to pull him out of the battle here to try and save him, because if he dies, he's got this Naginata Samurai, Naginata monks, Yari Ashigaru. I mean, Jtran did win that infantry engagement, but he's pretty ragged himself, come to think of it. This Katana Samurai all hurt very bad. It's one problem with the Katana Samurai, their defense isn't good, so while they can win battles, they'll usually take a lot of casualties, and can maybe not carry on that second phase of the attack. But this one's in pretty good shape over here. The general is gone off the field for Kale. Jtrans is still here, so that's probably going to be the deciding factor in this, but again, this is going to be close. We might have repeated game 1 coming down to a matter of seconds, where Kale's Katana Cavalry is coming in at 48 men to try and turn this around. Where are they going? Into the Yari Ashigaru? No, into the general, of course. And this could take him off the field. Look at that morale bar drop instantly down into the red. This is going to be huge. If this general goes, it is anybody's game. There they go. It is anybody's game, folks. Kale has turned this around a little bit and taken out the... Oh, he's going into the main line now. Kale could pull this out. The seconds being on his side in this battle, it seems. The Yari Ashigaru are moving up, but there's still some Great Guard left for Jtran. If he can make it there before he breaks... Oh, they're breaking. Again, a matter of seconds before that Great Guard made it to the infantry battle and turned it around. So it looks like Kale's going to win. So close yet again, just the margin of error was so small, but it just wasn't in time, and Kale looks like he's going to clean this up and take the series in 3 games. A very good series coming out of the losers bracket tonight, very close. But Jtran not giving up yet, and actually he has enough for a second surge. He could actually turn this around here. Another cavalry unit, a Katana cavalry, is coming back into the fight. If he can just hold out long enough with the Katana cavalry, he could turn this battle around again and end up winning. The Great Garter disengaged. Oh man, he could pull this out. Oh, what a turnaround. The comeback from Jtran. It looks like he could pull this out if he could just get to the melee line, and they're wavering. And Jtran, oh man, I thought Kale had this. It's just this battle's just been going back and forth, and now it looks like Jtran, being the only member with cavalry free to engage, is going to be the one pulling it out. But this is a Yari Samurai though at 111 men, and there's some. Oh, now the cavalry's free for Kale, and he could turn this around too. If he gets a charge on these wavering units, he could pull it out and win as well. Oh, this is so close, and there it is. 1 unit left for Jtran, and there it is. Kale ends up winning. So close. Oh my goodness, what a great match we saw. It was like Kale had the advantage, then Jtran, then Kale, then Jtran, and finally Kale ends up winning. What a close match. That has to be a contestant for one of the most exciting matches in this tournament so far. Definitely. I'll see you back on the main menu. Wow, that was absolutely insane. What a great match. Kale ends up being the winner there, winning for the Hojo. The Mori were so close to breaking that curse again, but couldn't pull it out, and Kale's going to be the one moving on to the losers bracket, and Jtran, sad to say, is now out of the tournament. But what a fight he put up in these matches. That was just a great losers round match. Absolutely loved watching it. And just so many little things throughout the course of this series ended up winning. It wasn't big macro mistakes. It wasn't big micro mistakes. These were little details that you can maybe not even call mistakes, just maybe miscalculations. And it's just that the seconds that it took for the cavalry to reach that infantry line ended up being the difference. And what a big difference that was. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in the next match.